Hello and welcome to Wake Up Canada News. I'm Brad Wilder. The BC Supreme Court in Vancouver was packed yesterday, filled to capacity with 78 seats and another 50 to 70 people outside the courtroom. The court proceeding addressed the motion to strike set forth by the defendants named in Action4Canada's statement of claim. Justice Alan Ross presided. It was an amazing day in court watching Rocco Galati in action. Rocco was brilliant as he argued the merits of the case in opposition to the motion to strike. Rocco pointed out that this is not a case about a truck hitting a bicycle, but one of great importance and public interest. Rocco meticulously provided case law, Canadian and international law, to defend our position as well as facts, supported by evidence, countering the defense's accusation that the case was founded on conspiracy theories. Mr. Galati advised Justice Ross that the case indeed is not based on conspiracy but rather facts, and that he can provide the evidence proving that Bill Gates funds Gavi and the WHO. Bonnie Henry has ties to Bill Gates and the WHO, Theresa Tam is tied to the WHO, and Justin Trudeau paid $1 billion to Bill Gates and made many, many more important points. There were 7 lawyers representing the defendants. The proceedings began at 10 a.m. Mr. WUCN, the lead counsel for Justin Trudeau, John Horgan, Bonnie Henry, and the other provincial Crown defendants, was the first to speak and provided a very weak submission. Mr. WUCN provided no evidence to support his vague allegations and argument that the statement of claim was replete with groundless conspiracy theories, deficient in substance, frivolous, convoluted, scandalous, irrelevant, costly, and also an embarrassment and an abuse of the court's process. Mr. WUCN made further claims that the notices of liabilities were threatening and intimidating to those who received them, and that the delivery of said documents was harassment. Mr. WUCN spoke for more than an hour and covered several sections of the statement of claim. He went into great detail, too. It was impressive to hear the merits of the case being spoken by the defense, and it became difficult at times to know if he was representing the defendants or the plaintiffs. As Mr. WUCN read through the details of the statement of claim, it only legitimized Action4Canada's position that the government has indeed violated the constitutional rights of Canadians, caused irreparable harm, and overstepped their authority. Lawyers representing the additional defendants' names in the SOC provided their submissions, and it was clear that they also had no argument or evidence to support their reasons for the application to strike. There was a break for lunch, but upon returning to court at 1:30 in the afternoon, Rocco began his response. As mentioned above, it was nothing less than brilliant and something to behold. Mr. Galati not only challenged Mr. WUCN for referring to the case as conspiracy theory, but also for making the absurd statement that it would be too much work and, too costly to proceed with this case. Mr. Galati called out the provincial governments and the Prime Minister for spending an accumulative $1.2 trillion on COVID-19 measures, and that by comparison, the cost for this case would be inconsequential. Rocco brought to the attention of the court Mr. WUCN's lame and offensive efforts to discredit him by reporting Rocco had 10 cases, which were dismissed due to motions to strike, but conveniently failed to point out that, out of Rocco's nearly 600 reported cases, he won them. None of his wins were reproduced by WUCN, of course. Rocco pointed to these facts to remind the court that the previous wins and losses are really irrelevant. The case at hand is the only issue. Mr. WUCN further failed to mention the thousands of cases that Rocco has argued in his 34-year career and the many wins he has achieved. Justice Ross thanked Mr. Galati for the information, and it rightfully elevated the level of respect due to him. In closing, Rocco stood on the merits of the case and that it is a matter of public interest and should not be dismissed. Rocco added the Constitution does not bend, kneel, or kiss the feet of public health offices or any public official or judicial legislature. There is so much more to report, but these are just some of the highlights. Live updates were posted during the proceedings. You can see those on Action4Canada. The defense lawyers had the opportunity to reply, and of course, 0 replied. None of them had a rebuttal. This is because they could not respond to Rocco's correction of the defendant's counsel's embarrassing misstatement and ignorance of constitutional laws and rights pleaded. We now await Justice Ross's decision, which may take up to 30 days. We'll make an announcement, of course, once we get that information, and it's available to us. To access the court documents, you can visit Legal Action page directly at Action4Canada. I'm Brad Wilder. This is Wake Up Canada News. Thanks for watching.